Hi there. Welcome to Lit Mind. This podcast I have created is for everyone that is willing to change something about themselves, and I am here as your host Karthik, and I'm here to enthuse you every day with thoughtful motivational content. And the first thing that I want to speak about in this podcast is that since it's the first episode, I want to give you a brief about why I created this podcast. And this podcast is created for the best version, the ideal self, the highest version that's possible for you or for anyone in this world to come forth from you. And that highest version, how possibly effectively you can reach that ideal version of yourself, is what's going to determine your way of living in this life. And that way of living is going to help you see yourself from a place where you never could have imagined yourself to be. Now, this ideal self, that is why is it important for us to be our ideal self? Now, that's a question that comes up when we talk about being our highest version. Now, the ideal self, that is us, if we are able to achieve the place that we desire to be, then it is through our relentlessly pursuing our highest version. And that highest version is somehow going to give us the ability to see our life and achieve the things that we want in our life. And that ideal self is a constant reminder for us to keep pursuing that ideal version of ourselves. And this is one of the reasons why I created this podcast, is to help individuals achieve their highest version of themselves. Now, me, as personally, as you would like to know my story, and my story is somewhat of a transformation. It's been a never ending, all throughout my life. I've been in the transformation since I was about 8 years old. I have been nothing but interested in life and people. This is all I know. All I've done is study life and people throughout my life. Even before I picked up my first book on personal development, all I did my entire life was study life and people. I don't know, for some reason, this was something which was very innate in me. It was very inherent in me since the very childhood. And I saw people, I took a back seat in my very early life. And that early life that I began as a student, and then that early life that was presented to me, like when we come to this world, we are presented with a world that we acquaint ourselves with, and we do not really see the ability to see ourselves, truly. And in order to see ourselves truly, we don't really go ahead and take the backseat of life. What we're told to do from the early on in life is that we must be the best person. We must do good. We must be able to get good grades. We must be able to achieve high results. We must be able to, we've been put on the pressure. We've been given the pressure in life. Like, people around us in our lives have put the pressure on us to achieve high endeavors, to see ourselves. Before we even begin, we are burdened, I would say, with things that we have not even yet been accustomed to. So I believe that when I took a back seat in my life in childhood, what happened was that this was the moment where I was beginning to see life from a place where I was able to see things, and I was able to observe people and life. And even though I didn't do very well throughout my school life, I wasn't a very good student. I wouldn't say that I was above average, but what I would say was that I was more interested in what was not being taught to us. That was what I was interested in. Why wasn't I being taught about how to manage good relationships? I used to see people angry. Since my childhood, I've seen, because I've come from a dysfunctional family, so I know things that when you see stuff happen around you, then what happens is that we begin to become very observant in life. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I became so observant from a very young age. And that observant nature in me persisted, and that observant nature was kind of a blessing. I would say it was a blessing to me, and because I feel that it helped me see life with a different perspective than most people, and that brought some major changes in my life as I continued my life journey after school. I did go to a college, but I didn't finish it. But eventually, things just took on a different level after my third year. So I was just finishing my fourth year, but I didn't complete it because things just went kind of hazy, and I had to make decisions on life. Things were falling apart in my life, and I had to see myself from a place where I did not see myself before. And what happened was, in that place where I was then I realized the fact that I had to make certain changes in myself. And I picked up the book Think and Grow Rich. That was one of the first books. And when I read that book, it literally opened my eyes. It literally gave me a perspective on life that I never saw life from. And I mean, not that it really brought everything into perspective. I mean, it's like as if I was waiting to just read that book it's like as if my whole childhood was being developed in a way to just pick up that book. Because when I picked up that book, and by the time I ended with that book, I was a completely different person. And that's one of the greatest things that I realized with me, was that I was able to see what Napoleon wrote in that book. And it so struck out, those words, some of the words in that book so struck with me. There was like a lightning bolt, some of the words. And from that moment on, my life has never been the same. And I would say that book is something that everyone must read, and I would suggest that everyone must read that. And so the ideal self is like a never ending process, and I have been continuing that journey to be my ideal self. And since that time, all I've been doing is reading books. And I feel that I have reached a level in my life now where I have the capacity, because see, I, being a person who comes from a dysfunctional family, so there were things that I had to fix within me. There were things that I was doubtful, I was fearful, I had all of these things. Not that I wasn't just like a regular person. I was like a regular person. I had fears. Not that I don't have any now. It's just that I have learned to put them in the corner. I've learned to put my fears in a corner. I've learned to put my doubts in a corner. I've learned to put all of those things in a corner. And trust me, it is a process. It's a process that once you get into it, and it's going to help you to advance in life where you never could have imagined for yourself. And that advancement is going to take root in you eventually when you begin the process of developing yourself. And this is something that I want to share with the world, the fact that this ideal self which is a never ending conquest, and it gives us the power to make discretionary changes in our own mental makeup. And that is very important. We go through a series of ways of living. We just go with the habits that we have acquired from a very young age. We never end up changing them. What happens is that once that happens, we become very rigid in our ways of thinking. Our ways of thinking become very rigid, and that is something that I've seen with a lot of people. A lot of people have a very rigid thinking, and especially in India, that as a person, if you have made up beliefs, if you have certain beliefs that you have developed within you from a young age, then that your thinking is very rigid in ways that you will never even be able to, you cannot see that. See, sometimes we have to get out of the perspective. We have to get out of the perspective of what we are in order to see. That paradigm has to be broken. That paradigm has to be transcended to see what has been our life. So why is self-development so important? Why is it? Because of the fact that sometimes we suffer. Sometimes we go through life thinking that why is it that I am going through life in such a way, and we don't realize the fact that we have picked up beliefs from the people that are around us, and those people have somehow molded us and have shaped us in a way that has created certain problems in our lives. And those molds have somehow made us rigid, and those molds have to be broken down. Those molds have to be brought there must be a certain change that must come for those molds to really break down. I mean, we need to change them. We need to remold ourselves in a way. That's what I'm trying to say. And so you see, we are the sum total of our thoughts, and those thoughts create our outer environment. And so what you see in your outer environment is nothing but your thoughts reflecting on you. And it's something that which we do not understand. So what happens is that because of our beliefs, we experience certain experiences in our lives continuously over and over again, because we have created beliefs about life that somehow are creating the same experiences for ourselves, because our thoughts are somehow being not changed. So we really need to begin to change the way we think. So we go through the moods, those recurring moods throughout the day. And if you're a working individual, you seem to not find the work or the employees or your co-workers as per your real interest. And that, I believe, it's high time that's when you know there needs to be certain changes within you. And how do you go about it? I've always been asked about this, that what is the one thing that can put you on the right path? What is that one single thing? And that is what this whole episode is about. This whole episode I have created in a way to give you the idea that this one change in your life is going to bring to you certain things about yourself. It'll give you that upper hand about life. And I'll tell you why. Now, what happens is that in order for you to have better experiences in your life, and there are better experiences that are available in your life that you have not accepted for yourself. And it's because of your attitude. It's because of you not having the right attitude towards life. I think it was Charles Swindoll that said, attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, the education, the money, than circumstances, than failure, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearances, giftedness, or skill. Your attitude is what determines your success. It was Earl Nightingale that mentioned in his recording of The Strangest Secret. And so why is it that we don't seem to ever figure out our work in life? Why is it that we go through life drifting? And if you're living, you are drifting to the point where you do not know why you're here. If you don't know why you're here, then there's a certain reason that you are drifting. I believe that we are all placed in this world, that we are all called to do something, Our work is here, and we have to figure it out. And how do we figure it out? By changing ourselves. That is the first step. It begins with you. And you see, it's like you're trying to search the mind, the diamond mind, which is you're going all around the world trying to chase your next best opportunity. But I'll tell you where your next best opportunity lies. It lies right within yourself. You are a diamond mine. And that, there's a book called Acres of Diamond. And Russell Cornwell explains that we are literally sitting on our diamond mine. And what is that diamond mine that is there in your life? What is it that's there in your life that is your diamond mine? It is your mind. Your mind is your diamond mine. And if you have cultivated that, if you nourish it with positivity, if you nourish it with the right thoughts, if you nourish it with the right kind of messages, and because see, that's the most important thing. Your mind must be like a place where you're dwelling on the right kind of things, because your senses are what's creating your moods. Your senses is what's creating your moods within you. And because see, where you are right now, where you are placed right now, it's because of your thinking. So what you have to do is you have to first begin to have an attitude of expectancy. That means in order to have, like people ask, why is it that we don't like our jobs, we don't like our place where we work, we don't like any of it? And I say one thing, and that is that you have to create an attitude of expectancy. And that attitude of expectancy is going to then bring forth some miracles, some great working power. You will have a great working power within you that will bring forth certain life opportunities that you probably may not have even imagined. This may seem all magical, but it isn't. Trust me, your attitude is the first thing that is within your control. The only thing that you have in your control is your attitude. That attitude is going to bring forth that person from you, which is going to help you to see your difficulties, your problems in your life from a place where you never could have imagined. See your life, your attitude. If you changed it, what's going to happen is, you don't realize it, but what's going to happen is that your attitude is going to make your difficulty look smaller. It's going to make your difficulty, like your attitude can outshine your difficulty, your problem. See, you go about fixing your problems with the same attitude. That's what the problem is. You go about solving your problems with the same attitude. What you do is you go about talking about your problems with other people. What you're doing is you're nothing but multiplying your problem. You're multiplying your problem with the same attitude, and that's why you are lacking in that ability to see yourself from a place where you should see yourself from. You want something, but you want something else, but you don't have the attitude of having that. You getting what I'm saying? So in order to have what you want, you're going to have to first begin with having the right kind of attitude. See, your difficulty is only a difficulty to the point that you do not have the attitude of facing that difficulty. See, your difficulty of your matter of the problem that you're going through right now is only because of the fact that you have not allowed yourself to develop your attitude. And attitude is something which we all should be taught. There must be a course on attitude, and I believe that there should be a course on attitude for students in schools, because I believe that is one of the most important things that we must learn in our lifetime, and that is our attitude. And our attitude is something that we can shift. And if we begin to make this one small change, and I'm telling you, it's really not that easy, but it happens with consistency. So any habit that you put into practice becomes your new identity. It becomes your personality. Any habit that you put into practice becomes your personality. So how do you put an expectant attitude in your personality? How do you go about it? Here's how you go about it. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to close your eyes and you're going to imagine the life that you have been wanting, that you have been desiring for. And it's a life that you have desired for yourself, that you may not have yet come to the point where, yes, this is exactly what I want. But if it's as vague as it can be, go ahead, go with it. Just imagine that life for yourself. Imagine it for yourself. And then what you do is you see that vision. You see yourself in that vision. You see yourself in your imagination doing that thing that you love to do. You have to see yourself doing that thing. What is the kind of person that you will be while having that thing, while having that imagination is more important than the thing that you will have in that imagination. Who will you be as a person in your imagination is more important than what the imagination holds for you. If you understand this part, then you will be able to see yourself from a place. See, self-confidence is something that is, it's very notably said in many books that you can develop self-confidence by just imagining yourself to be a confident person. Now, how can you see yourself to be a confident person? Let's say that you want to be a cricketer. So what do? You go ahead and imagine yourself winning the cup. You imagine yourself winning for your team. You imagine yourself scoring the highest runs. You see yourself as the best bowler in the match. You see yourself just going ahead and being the best person in whatever line of work that you have chosen for yourself. And what's going to happen is eventually a person is going to emerge from that imagination and it's going to stand boldly in front of you. And that person that's going to stand boldly in front of you is going to help you see yourself from a place where you never could have imagined. Now, what's going to happen is that vision is somehow going to help you to advance in your life and see yourself from that place where you have the capacity to now go forward with that vision. Now things have changed. Now why things have changed? Because you have seen yourself, imagined yourself as that person, and that boldly, that person that is standing out with that vision of yourself is going to become a factor in your life. That factor is that you see yourself as a confident person while doing that thing, while doing those certain things that you want to do. Now, don't imagine yourself seeing yourself in a car, driving around, picking up girls, because those are the kind of things that are not going to help you to get what you want in life. Because eventually that person will not stand boldly in front of your eyes. Because see, you want the car, your focus is on the material thing. But here's what I'm trying to say to you: your focus must be on you. What kind of quality would you want in you as a person when you're doing your thing? What kind of a quality, what kind of person that you see yourself as is more important than what material object are you going to acquire from that imagination? See, that's more important. See, we're not focusing on the thing that is more important than anything else, and that is you. You have to focus on you. You have to focus on what you want. What quality would you want to see yourself as having in you? That is more important than anything else. Now, that vision is going to help you to create that right attitude. That literally gives you an expectant attitude that, yes, I can do that. Now, there are a lot of things that are going to happen in between that. And from that moment to the vision, to the point where you have begun expecting that result for yourself, there are a lot of things that are going to happen in between that. And that's where the fight is. That's where, so you see, there's no win without great fight. There's no win without a great struggle, right? So don't be afraid of the struggle. Don't be afraid of the fight. Because if you want it, if there's nothing in the world that you want more than that dream that you have, then I don't think that there's anything that the fight, if you have the fight in you, and that is something you have to develop. That's going to be developed. So don't be afraid of it. It's fine. It's okay. It's normal to be afraid of it in the beginning, but don't give up on it because of the fight that is required to have that which you want. Because the fight is always going to be when you enter this world. The fight began when you entered the world. I mean, it was about good and bad. The moment you entered the world, this world is good and bad. This world is good and evil. This world is like that. And so you have to know that in order to get something, you cannot be naive enough to think that if you go with the unexpected attitude of never having that, you will never have it. It's as simple as that. It's your beliefs. Your beliefs are being created in this world, and your beliefs are somehow going to help you to see yourself as that person. And in order for you to see yourself as that person, you have to believe in that which you have seen for yourself. And if you haven't seen for yourself, you have to go with the attitude of expecting it. Expectant attitude comes with the vision, and that vision you have to create for yourself. And that vision that you create for yourself has to come from a place of love, has to come from a place of a heart, has to come from a place where you deeply, truly desire something. When you truly desire something, it does come to fulfillment eventually. You cannot expect it to materialize in a day or two. But I'm saying to you, if there's something, if you wanted to sing, if you wanted to be the best, sports person in anything, whatever you want to do, you can do that. You can do it. Don't look at the competition. There is no competition. Let me be very frank with you. If you have the ability to see yourself winning something, if you have the ability to see yourself as having that, then what's required is what you see yourself. The person that you see yourself as is more important than that victory that you get, because that victory is it's a byproduct. That victory is a byproduct of the personality that you are, of the personality that you have seen yourself to be. And that would be something that would be a good personality. victory can only be achieved by right set of mind. Only a right mindset can have the ability to win things, because that is how things happen. You have to have that strong mindset. Only a strong mindset can win things. Now, that's something that's very evident in any life. So what do you have to do? You have to develop that mind. You have to be able to have the capacity to develop your mind, and that developing of your mind is going to help you to see things from different place. Now, what should you do to have that expectant attitude? That expectant attitude is then will push you forth every obstacle that comes in your way. So what do you do to ensure continuous expectant attitude? That's the most important thing, because see, difficulties are going to happen. There are going to be some challenges in your life. There are going to be people around you people are going to say things, and that's what you want to be able to have the ability to face. That's what you need power for. That means that your mind must become stronger, that you must have an agile mind. That is the most important thing. And how do you develop that? How do you develop an agile mind? An agile mind can be developed easily by reading books, by absorbing yourself with content of people that have strong minds. See, your environment, you are shaped by your environment. You are molded by your environment. You are directed by your environment. So once you have that vision, once you have that idea of what you want to do and what you want to be, then the first thing is look around. What kind of people are around you? That's the first thing you must do after having that vision, because if there are certain people in your life that are not going to help you to achieve that vision that you have, then don't talk to them about it. And what I would suggest is that remove them from your life if you can. If they're toxic, then you must remove them. You must have the capacity to eliminate them from your life, because see, they're not going to help you. As a matter of fact, they are an obstacle to your advancement. They are an obstacle to your achievement. They're an obstacle to anything that you would want to do. They will be an obstacle to anything. And that's why you want to get away from all the toxic people in your life. You want to be away as far as possible from all the toxic people in your life. And I know it's a hard thing to do. Sometimes there could be your own family members that could be against you, and that's happened. I have been a victim of my own family members trying to tell me what I can do and what I can't do, and it's been going on since a very young age. So I do see myself realizing the fact that I had to build up courage. See, there's a saying that says that you have to have the courage. You have to have the courage to go against the dominant thinking of your friends, family, and your neighbors. Because what's going to happen is, if you don't develop the courage, and there's a saying by Lao Tzu that says that if you want to develop courage outwardly, then you would die for it. But if you want to develop courage inwardly, then you would want to live your life. That means that we have to develop the courage inwardly. That is what I'm trying to say. We have to not die for the things that we want to do, because we don't have to show an outward courage. We have to begin to develop an inward courage, which means that we have to begin to strengthen our mind so we can face, so that we don't let those words enter us, so that we don't allow those words to become a part of our life. It becomes so easy for us to fall victim of the words, what people say. It becomes very easy for us to become victims of the words that people say. And that's what we want to be absolutely certain of. First off, from where we're beginning now. And what has happened in the past is not important. What's important is now that you are here, now that you see yourself from this place. What is it that you have to do in order for you to have that expectant attitude? And if there are people in your life that will not allow you to have that expectant attitude, that will not be supportive of your expectant attitude, then you have to get rid of them. And that's very important for your thing, for what you need to do. So an expectant attitude with the right match, with the right vision that you create for yourself, and removing all toxic people. These three things are vital to your next phase in life, to that next place in life, to that next, if you're looking for that next understanding about what is it that I must do in order for me to move ahead in life, to move forward in life, to see myself as that person that I have always wanted to be, then I must develop these three things. And these three things are vital. And the most important is the expectant attitude. That attitude is going to help you to see yourself towards your created vision, towards your desired vision, towards your desired version of yourself, is going to push you towards that vision. If you are deliberately and constantly going ahead and creating that attitude and having that attitude, that expectant attitude, go down. See, your attitude is everything. If you don't have a good attitude right now, if you are not positive right now, if you don't have the hints of positivity in you, if your thoughts are somewhat not allowing you to have that ability to see yourself from a place where you can achieve something, is because you have not allowed yourself to work on your attitude. There are things around you, you consider those as problems, is because your attitude is not stronger than the difficulty that is there in your life. Like I said earlier, you have to rise above the difficulty. And in order to rise above the difficulty, you're going to have to listen to people that are charged, that will charge you up, that will help you, to inspire you. What's going to happen is that when you listen to these people, you are literally setting an environment within yourself with such people. Basically, you are allowing yourself to move away from if you don't like the place that you work, then you have about 16 hours. Let's say out of those 16 hours, if you listen to 8 hours to people that can inspire you, then what's going to happen is eventually you will start to resonate with their thoughts. And once your thoughts begin to resonate with the people that inspire you, then what's going to happen is eventually your thoughts are going to move towards those thoughts. And what's going to happen is eventually you're going to see yourself, there are going to be some changes in your environment, and you'll be amazed to see some changes in your environment altogether. Because see, our outer environment is nothing but the consequence of our consciousness. Your consciousness is what needs to be changed. Your consciousness is your awareness. Your awareness of yourself is what it is that needs change. And in order to change that, you're going to have to dive deep into other people's lives that have achieved. People that are inspiring always have a consciousness which is a positive consciousness. You want to align yourself with the positive consciousness people, because what's going to happen is eventually you will begin to resonate with their thoughts. And once their thoughts and your thoughts are resonating, you are literally moving towards a different life. You're literally moving towards a different life. You have literally, and it takes just one step. It just takes that one direction. One alteration in your life can literally help you to see your life from a different place. You don't have to do these. You cannot see yourself right now in that place where you are, is because where you want to be is because of the fact that your attitude is not allowing you to have that expectancy of something that you want and something that you desire so strongly. And that's why I say that look into people that are inspiring, look into people that are positive. And if you find me positive, then keep listening to me, and I will come back with my next episode soon. And thank you so much for joining in today. Have a great day.